Hello, my brothers and sisters. My name is Tim Heijen and I am a dragon witch. And the things that I'm going to say to you is all personal. Everything that I say is personal. I'm not the kind of witch that wants to read from a large book or maybe from rules book or something like this. No, my brothers and sisters, I live in the forest and the forest is my home, and that is where you understand the most of life. So, my brothers and sisters, in this case, I want to talk to you about the awakening of the dragon. And for everyone else, this is going to be different. So, this is going to be an explanation more of what the dragon awakening can be. When I was awakened for the moment in 2005, I was not immediately knowing it all. I didn't know anything. It was very confusing. And it was on my birthday. And that was no coincidence. Because whenever you are awakened, it's going to be on the perfect time of year, on the perfect moment, whenever the weather, whenever the darkness, whenever the sky is just the same moment from the moment where you were born out of the womb of Tiamat. That is the moment where you will be awakened here on earth. But you, of course, will not immediately know it. Just like in a normal birth, you will not be, of course, knowing it all. You have to learn, you have to teach yourself the ways. And the moments that I seemed to understand what is going on, I was no longer my own mind. It was not longer myself, just me, myself, and I. No, it seemed like I could understand the universe, that I could understand the plants, the other planets, nature in itself. I understood so many things, like I was connected with every single thing on earth, with nature in itself, like I was going to be becoming an empath for every single thing that is alive. And I could have so many compassion and I could talk to it. That is in fact what dragons can do. They can communicate with so many things. But as a human being, this is confusing. You don't immediately know what is going on inside of your mind, because you might say a draconic awakening is something that you know from deep or from within. Actually, it's your spirit, your draconic spirit, that is being touched by the dragons by your side. It's getting being charged by the dragons by your side. In this way, you become much more connected to the universe, and that is what dragons are. They are very much connected to the universe. That is very simple. Why? Because these are children of God. These are the children of God, and that is something that you are no less in, and that is why you are allowed to have all of these feelings that you are not anymore like an individual. You are no individual anymore. You are now wide and open, connected with every single thing. That is why I hate violence. That is why I hate, for example, I cannot even pull this out simply because now it's connected to the earth. And that is also what we can have inside of our hands. We can feel it and we can talk to it. We can understand it. And that is also what dragons can do. Dragons can do that. They can communicate with every single thing. What is seemingly unimportant for people, for humans. Humans just don't even look at it. They don't even see it. But dragons see it. And also, a dragon witch sees the beauty of every single thing that is created by nature. And that is why I came to understand much more how high the dragons actually are. Dragons are, like I even say, the highest. I didn't never looked up to gods or demigods or spirits. I never looked up to them until I met the dragon, until the dragon awakened me. And this awakening is for everyone different, but the outcome is the same. You can connect with every single thing. You can also talk different languages, not in human languages, but different languages that you seem to understand. And that is what people don't seem to understand from a draconic awakening, and why when people hear about dragons, they hear about these animals, beasts, that going to destroy a castle in Game of Thrones or whatever. I've seen it. Those are not dragons. Dragons are divine. Dragons are godlike, and dragons are not at all displayed on TV or correct displayed. Dragons are wise, ancient beings that are one with everything in nature. Of course, it's for humans, they can be very much misunderstood. And I understand why. because humans are nothing at all like dragons. And that is why it's so difficult in the beginning of our awakening, because now we are connecting our humanity with our draconic spirit. Whenever you are connecting these two, these don't translate. This is going to be difficult as very much. And when you hear all of these voices inside of your head, these are not the voices that are human. These are not the languages that is a human language. These are languages of nature, languages of the plants, languages even of the animals. You can understand so many things of it. And that is why the first years, and I'm very grateful, the first 7 years was all by myself. I thinking that it was all me. Just sometimes thinking that I'm going insane because I can hear dragons, I can hear the rest as well. The more that years progressed, the more that I could understand what is actually going on. And that is because dragons are so close to nature. In fact, dragons are the embodiment of nature, that you can also try to understand how nature works. That you are one with the universe. That you are not just this tiny thing in a fraction of time. No, that your spirit keeps on going on different planes, different dimensions. And this is just one of them. Try to understand what it is. And now the dragon is trying to awaken you before you go to another plane. Trying to awaken you so that you can understand and learn from these experiences here on Earth. That is why I sometimes say it is not a draconic experience that you have. This is a human experience with a draconic soul that is getting awakened. And like I said before, your awakening will happen at the moment when you were born. From the moment that your soul, your spirit was created. And your soul will always try to grasp the light where it comes from and try to connect with the light where it comes from. So that is why you might feel so lonely and you hear so many voices and you don't know from where it comes. These voices is also something that dragons can hear. The voices of the universe, the voices of the plants, the voices of nature. You can understand them. And that is why dragons are always where nature is at their wildest. That is why I'm also very much drawn to the forest. I didn't know why, but the forest is, I can see it as my home. And I sometimes am alone here talking with all of these plants. People see it as crazy. Well, actually, no. That is what dragons do. Dragons are not these violent beings that humans see. Dragons are wise and ancient, and humans cannot grasp that. Humans cannot handle that. Humans see themselves as the owner of everything. They even want to own the moon, the sun, the sky, everything. But everything is getting destroyed whenever humans whenever they touch something. And dragons are the opposite of it. Whenever they touch something, something will grow. It will talk to them, because everyone in nature, everything in nature, trusts the dragon. But no one trusts humans. But here you are, combined in one, in a human body, yet you have a dragon soul. And it also connects with nature in itself. That is why also every dragon is different, so every awakening is going to be different. And the awakening can be slow or fast. It can go in every direction. But the thing is, it always comes to the same thing. I called myself a dragon witch because I feel sometimes alone here in this world. I feel, especially when I'm in the forest or something like this, it feels that I'm alone, the odd one out. But that is why I call myself a witch. I'm a dragon witch, a dragon for dragon, a witch for humans. But yeah, like I said, an awakening is not just... I wonder myself, why on my 18th birthday? Why did the dragon come down? Did the dragon have a calendar? No, the dragons just knew it. It was time. It was the moment. It was the moment when the spirit inside of yourself was born, was created by Tiamat. And that is why you can feel the dragon so well. From the moment that it's that same kind of weather situation, or that moment of the year, that time of year when your spirit was born. So I've seen other people with different kind of awakenings, so many different kinds. But mine was very fast, it was intense, to say at least. It was very intense, I didn't know what was going on. I could hear all of these voices of nature. I could hear the voices of the dragon calling out to me. And I didn't know what was going on. Nobody told me about this. It comes out of nowhere. I mean, everyone can tell you about religion, but this is nothing. This is nothing to do with that. This is your story, a story that needs to be told. Your story where you are awakened by your dragons, needs to be charged by the dragons by your side. Your dragon eye. And that is a dragon awakening, my brothers and sisters. It can be very fast, it can be sometimes slow, but it will happen from the moment when the time is right. And there you are understanding that you are not just a fraction on the universe, that you are much wider than that you are so powerful, much more than you might even realize how powerful you can be. That it doesn't end with death, it just changes to something different. Even though I've seen the void, to be very honest, I'm afraid of death. I'm afraid of it because I've seen what happens if you lose your way. Then you go to the void. Even though dragon spirits are travelers, they can easily go to another. Yet what I have seen inside of the void, that is what dragons are. Dragon witches, we are empaths. We can feel the suffering. We can feel the suffering in ourselves. That is what dragons are. They are angelic kind of beings. I'm sorry for the word, but in fact these beings are complicated. Dragons are very complicated. I am very complicated. You are very complicated. We are very complicated because humans don't seem to understand us. But that is typically what dragons are. They are very much different than humans. Dragons are very complicated for humans to understand, and that is why in the beginning of your awakening, it will be tough. It will be tough. And from the moment the chaos happens, Tiamat is the goddess of chaos, and that will happen. That is also very much a draconic awakening, chaos, and that will happen. But out of the chaos, you create the path that is made for you. And Tiamat or other dragon gods, Leviathan, Quetzalcoatl, Fafnir, will be by your side to guide you and aid you wherever you need it. Because here in this world, we need that. We need that very much also especially from the moment that you are awakened. My brothers and sisters, be blessed.